I thought he just wanted to trace our ancestry. Until the DNA test he gifted me turned out to be a trap to prove our son wasn't his. It was Christmas morning, and everything looked like a Pinterest-perfect family holiday. Cinnamon rolls in the oven, matching flannel pajamas, our 6-year-old son Jackson bouncing around like a wind-up toy, and soft jazz playing from our record player. My husband Ben handed me a shiny red envelope tucked under the tree. "I wanted this to be a little different this year," he said, smiling, but it was tight, like it had been rehearsed. Inside was a sleek white box with green lettering, Family Finder's DNA Ancestry Kit. "I thought we could do it together," Ben said, "just for fun." I grinned because honestly that sounded sweet. I'd mentioned once that my mom's side might have Irish roots, and Ben always joked he was 90% accountant, 10% mystery. So yeah, it made sense. It was thoughtful. I kissed him. I didn't know then that box wasn't a family tree, it was an axe. Looking back now, the signs were everywhere. Ben and I had been together for almost 10 years, married for 7. He's the kind of guy who organizes his sock drawer by color and has a spreadsheet for vacation expenses. Nothing flashy, just stable. I used to love that about him. I work as a freelance illustrator, so my life is chaos in color, and he was always the grounding force. I called us the watercolor and the ruler. But the last year, something shifted. He started staying late at work, canceling family movie nights, saying he was too exhausted to talk. He said he was worried about Jackson's behavior at school, asked me things like, "Do you really think he looks like me?" Or, "Was your high school boyfriend tall?" I thought he was stressed. I didn't think he was investigating. We sent in our DNA kits together 2 days after Christmas. Saliva in the tubes, check. Online profile registration, check. I clicked through mine casually. Ben was intense, meticulous, double-checking everything, even asking me to redo the swab on Jackson because he sneezed. I laughed it off. "Babe, it's not a medical trial." He just nodded and muttered, "Just want clean results." Clean results, the irony. The company said it would take 3 to 4 weeks. Around week 2, Ben got an email notification. He didn't say a word. I only found out because I walked past his office and saw the Family Finder's portal open on his screen. It was showing 2 samples, his and Jackson's, and a big red flag icon that said, "No paternal match detected." I stopped breathing. Ben saw me, minimized the screen like a guilty teenager. "It's not what you think," he said, instantly defensive. I needed to know." "Know what, Ben?" I asked, heart hammering. "That your son isn't yours, that your wife is a liar." He stood up, hands raised like I was dangerous. "I'm not saying that, but you have to admit Jackson's eyes and your ex." I cut him off. "You tested our child without telling me." He didn't answer, he just stared at the ground. I've never felt a silence louder than in that room. That night, I sat on the bathroom floor and sobbed until I choked. The betrayal wasn't just the accusation, it was the method. The gift was never a gift. It was a setup. A digital gotcha moment wrapped in wrapping paper. But here, where the story pivots. Because the next morning, while doom scrolling and researching how DNA tests actually work, I logged into my own Family Finder's portal out of curiosity. And what I saw flipped the script entirely. Under my Genetic Relatives tab, a new match had appeared. Close family, 25% shared DNA. Female. Age, 14. Name, Hannah R. Confused, I clicked on the family tree diagram. The system automatically suggested, likely half-sibling to your child. That meant this girl, Hannah, was biologically connected to Jackson through Ben. I refreshed the page twice. And then I screamed. While Ben was busy trying to prove Jackson wasn't his, he accidentally revealed a secret of his own. He has a daughter I never knew about. I spent the next hour in a trance, scrolling, clicking, reading this girl's public profile. She lived in Austin. Her mother's name wasn't familiar. There were no pictures of Ben on her page, but their resemblance was unmistakable. Same ears, same crooked smile, even the exact gap between their front teeth. My son's gap. Oh my God. Ben didn't just cheat, he didn't just question my son's blood, he had another child. And had the nerve to test me. By the time he came home from work that night, I was sitting at the dining room table with the Family Finder's results printed and highlighted. He walked in, keys jangling, already mid-sentence. Hey, I was thinking maybe we could talk about. I slid the papers across the table. He froze. What is this? He asked, but his face gave it away. That flash of recognition. Guilt, panic. You tell me, I said. My voice was flat, dangerous. He didn't deny it. He didn't even try. He sat down slowly. It was one time, before we got serious, I didn't even know she kept the baby. She never told me. 14 years, Ben, and she shows up now through my test. He ran a hand down his face. I was scared Jackson wasn't mine. I thought if I knew for sure, maybe I'd feel more secure. I stared at him. So you gave me a DNA test, hoping to prove I was unfaithful, and in the process exposed your own secret kid. He nodded once, yes. There it was, a confession in a single syllable. I wish I could say I screamed, threw something, kicked him out that second. But I didn't. I sat there numb, thinking, how do I raise a child with someone who treats trust like a lab experiment? Later that week, while Jackson slept, I made a decision. I messaged Hannah's mother through the portal. I introduced myself politely, explained the match, and said, if your daughter ever wants to meet her brother, I'd be open to it. She replied within the hour. She had known. Hannah had known for a year but didn't reach out. He's not in our lives, the mom wrote, but maybe they should meet. And then the idea sparked. If Ben wanted the truth in black and white, I'd show him the full picture in color. I booked a photographer, bought matching red sweaters. I told Jackson we were doing a special family shoot. And I invited Hannah too. She was shy, sweet, and kind. Her mother brought her to the studio. I didn't force anything. But by the end of the shoot, Jackson was giggling and calling her his half-sis. Ben didn't know, not yet. But soon, every one of our holiday cards, sent to all our family, friends, and his conservative parents, would show the real family tree. Ben's 2 kids, side by side. Captioned, family comes in many forms, DNA doesn't lie. Looking back now, I see that betrayal doesn't always end with broken glass or screaming. Sometimes, it ends with a Christmas card and a silent mic drop. Ben didn't see the Christmas cards right away. He was staying with a friend, some sad bachelor pad littered with empty Red Bulls and motivational posters about grind set. We agreed to take a short break so we could each think, but let's be honest, he was hiding, avoiding the reality that he'd played genetic roulette and lost to himself. Meanwhile, I was very much not hiding. I took the kids, Jackson and Hannah, to the botanical gardens one afternoon. They were awkward at first. Hannah was quiet and polite, Jackson was loud and hyper, but somewhere between the koi pond and the butterfly house, they bonded over gummy worms and a shared hatred of cauliflower. She braided a little string bracelet for him on the bench. He asked if he could call her Sissy. She nodded. I nearly cried. And I hadn't cried much, not the kind of cry where you let yourself feel. Not since I found that test. I'd been running on rage and irony. But that moment cracked something. I realized I was done trying to fix Ben's narrative. I wouldn't argue, justify, or beg. He wasn't just a man who didn't trust me. He was a man who weaponized science to control a story and had no clue his own character arc was about to flip. Because while he thought he was drafting a clean exit plan from fatherhood, I was preparing a rebrand. Package the card drop. The holiday cards arrived the week before Christmas. Heavy matte cardstock, embossed snowflakes, and a centered photo. Hannah and Jackson sitting cross-legged in matching sweaters, both smiling like this family thing was natural and normal. Above the photo, in elegant calligraphy font, our family grows stronger every year. Below it, love Alexis, Jackson, and Hannah. Ben's name was conspicuously absent. So was mine, technically, but everyone knew who ran the Christmas cards in our house. I sent them to Ben's parents, who loved appearances, his two brothers and their wives, his boss, who once said, "Ben has that all-American family vibe," his fantasy football league, his old college roommates, and of course, Ben via express overnight, signature required. I told Jackson we were sending holiday cheer. I didn't mention the revenge angle. That part was just for me. Telephone receiver. The fallout begins. Ben called at 8:42 p.m. the next day. I let it go to voicemail. Then I listened. "Alexis, what the hell was that card? You sent it to my mother. Are you seriously parading her around like she's part of our family now? This is a private matter. You had no right." Click. No apology, no ownership, just outrage that I took control of the narrative. 5 minutes later, he texted, "We need to talk, you've made a scene." I replied, "No, I made a Christmas card." He didn't respond. Speech ballooned the conversations that mattered. While Ben stewed, other people were talking. His mother, a woman who once told me children should never be secrets, called me. "Is it true?" she asked, voice trembling. "That girl is his." I confirmed. I didn't embellish. I didn't trash Ben. I just told her the truth. Then I said, "I thought you'd like to know your other granddaughter exists." She was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Thank you for not punishing the child." Later, she sent Hannah a holiday card and a hand-knit scarf. People notice things when the story is honest. Ben's older brother texted me. "That was baller. If you need help moving anything, I've got a truck." Even his boss replied to the card with a generic wishing you and the kids peace, but I could feel the tension behind it. I imagined Ben scrambling to explain. Corporate guys don't love optics, especially when they involve hidden children and DNA kits. Brain my therapy, my rules. By New Year's, I had my own therapy schedule locked in Tuesday afternoons with Dr. Naomi. First session, she asked me something simple that nearly broke me. When was the last time someone chose you without doubt? I didn't answer, not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't remember. We talked about boundaries, about rage that morphs into clarity, and about why so many women accept reasonable betrayal just to avoid being dramatic. She gave me permission to be dramatic, to be angry, to take up space. I started drawing again, sketching little scenes from the absurdity of it all. My favorite was a watercolor of Ben holding a DNA kit like it was a bomb about to blow off his own foot. DNA Hannah's truth. Mid-January, Hannah asked if she could stay over for a weekend. I said yes. We painted pottery, ate cereal for dinner, and watched old holiday movies with waffles curled up between them. That Sunday morning, while the kids played Legos, Hannah sat at the counter with me. "I never really wanted to meet him," she said suddenly. "Ben." She nodded. "I just wanted to know why I have this gap in my teeth." I laughed, then stopped. "You deserve answers, but you also deserve boundaries." She smiled. "You're the first adult who talks to me like I get to choose things." That stuck. And it made me realize I did too. Memo: the final talk. Ben finally requested to meet in person. I agreed, public place, cafe near the lake, mid-afternoon crowd. He looked tired, grayer, less like the man who loved graphs and more like a man who'd been turned into one. He opened with, "I didn't mean to hurt you." I waited. I needed to feel like I had control again. Work was slipping, our intimacy changed. Jackson got mouthy, I panicked. "You panicked and tested your family behind their backs." He nodded. "Yeah, I did, and I was wrong." Pause, he looked up. "But this card thing, the Hannah reveal, it made me realize I don't know who I am outside of trying to be right." I stared. "Maybe it's time you find out." He swallowed. "Do I still get to be Jackson's dad?" And finally, I felt the weight of the whole story settle. "You always had that chance, but only if you earn it now." He nodded again, this time slower. We didn't hug, we didn't cry. We stood, said goodbye, and walked in different directions. Looking back now, I see it clearly. Ben's gift wasn't a test kit, it was a final question. Do you trust me? And through his actions, he answered it before I could. But instead of burning the evidence, I framed it. I turned it into clarity, into connection, into a holiday photo that told my truth. One no one could ignore. And that's the thing about betrayal, it doesn't always bury you. Sometimes, it exposes a root system you didn't know existed. Sometimes, it gives you family. Sometimes, it gives you freedom. And sometimes, just sometimes, it gives you both. There's something strangely empowering about watching someone try to control a narrative and then absolutely lose control of it in real time. That's what Ben was doing now, scrambling to catch up to a truth he tried to manipulate into fiction. After our meeting at the cafe, he sent a long, carefully worded email titled, "Next Steps, Rebuilding Trust and Co-Parenting." It read more like a quarterly report than an apology. Bullet points, subheadings, a proposed visitation calendar with quality time and developmental bonding slots highlighted in yellow. I didn't reply. Instead, I printed it out, grabbed a red pen, and wrote across the top in giant letters. Jackson is not a project, neither am I. Then I put it in a drawer and left it there. Stop sign, declining the redemption arc. Ben wanted a redemption arc. He wanted to be the guy who learned from his mistake, who had done the work, who could tell everyone over wine that yes, things got messy, but love and therapy won in the end. But that's not the story I'm telling, because sometimes healing doesn't come with a reconciliation. Sometimes it comes with a redefinition. I didn't want him to disappear from Jackson's life. I'm not cruel. But I also wasn't going to hand him back the title of husband just because he finally started behaving like a decent human being. Therapy, sure, co-parenting schedule, absolutely. Rebuilding a life together, not on my roadmap. I wasn't punishing him, I was choosing me. And I wanted Jackson and Hannah to see what that looked like. Framed picture, the family portrait that broke Facebook. In February, I scheduled a second photo shoot. Not for revenge this time. Not to make a point. But because I wanted a new portrait to hang in our hallway, one that told the real story. Me in the center, Jackson on one side, Hannah on the other, both kids smiling, their hands laced around mine. Behind us, a wall covered in black and white prints of our little life, painting Easter eggs, watching fireworks, baking cookies in chaotic flower-covered kitchens. No Ben, not scrubbed out, just absent. The photographer asked what vibe I wanted. I said, warm truth, no edits. A few weeks later, I posted one of the photos to my private Facebook with the caption, "We didn't choose the same biology, but we're building something stronger, honesty." It got hundreds of comments. Some supportive, some confused. Some asking, what happened to Ben? I didn't answer. Sometimes the silence is the only honest reply. Direct hit the unexpected DM. One afternoon, I got a message on Instagram from a woman I didn't know. Her profile was private, no profile pic. The message read, "I think I might be Hannah's half-sister too. Same father, different mom. I matched with her on Family Finders. Should I reach out?" I nearly dropped my phone. I forwarded the message to Hannah's mom. She confirmed another match had popped up. Ben's web wasn't just tangled, it was multiplying. That's when I understood something huge. Ben wasn't just trying to escape paternity with Jackson, he was trying to escape accountability for an entire trail of secrets. And the DNA test wasn't a trap for me. It was damage control for him. Except science didn't care about his story. Brain therapy revelations and kid logic. During one of Jackson's therapy sessions, yes, we started those, he told the counselor. I thought Daddy wanted to know if I was his, but I already am me. The counselor smiled and asked, "What do you mean?" Jackson shrugged. "I mean, It's not like I'm gonna change if he gets a paper back that says no. I still like dinosaurs and jelly beans. I still get scared of thunder. He looked over at me, and I still love Mommy. The counselor teared up, so did I. Truth in its purest form is often spoken by children. And in that moment, I realized that even if Ben hadn't believed in Jackson, Jackson had always known exactly who he was. Chart decreasing Ben's downfall, not my doing. By March, I stopped tracking Ben's redemption attempts. But apparently, others didn't. One of his coworkers, a woman I'd met once at a holiday mixer, emailed me privately. She said HR had received an anonymous complaint about Ben misusing company resources. Turns out, he'd researched the DNA kits on his work laptop, run comparisons using internal data tools, and even shipped the kits using the company FedEx account. Word is he's on a final warning, she wrote. Just thought you should know. I didn't gloat, I didn't even reply. Because that wasn't mine to carry anymore. I was too busy teaching Jackson how to ride his bike without training wheels and helping Hannah prep for a middle school science fair. Receipt the divorce. It was quick. No battle, no drama. Just ink on paper. We divided things cleanly. I kept the house. He kept the couch I hated and his Peloton that served mostly as a laundry rack. I gave him generous visitation rights, but added one clause the lawyer hadn't seen before. Any attempt to test our child's DNA again, secretly or otherwise, will be considered immediate grounds for sole custody. He signed it without comment. Maybe he was finally learning that some truths aren't negotiable. Envelope a letter from Hannah. On Mother's Day, I got a card in the mail. No return address, just a crayon drawing of 3 stick figures holding hands. Inside, in uneven handwriting. You didn't have to include me, but you did. You didn't have to call me family, but you meant it. Thank you for being my mom's friend. And for being something close to a mom to me. Hannah. I sat on the porch steps and cried. Not from pain. From peace. Looking back now, I see that Ben's DNA kit was never about ancestry. It was a desperate attempt to rewrite a story that already had a perfectly good plot. He just wasn't the hero in it. He wanted to escape. But the truth set me free. By April, it no longer felt like I was recovering from something. It felt like I was building something new. Ben had become a background character in the life he once tried to edit with saliva and suspicion. And I had fully stepped into the role of the main character, not the revenge-seeking, wine-sipping caricature people expect from the betrayed wife, but the mom who ran a household, hosted Saturday pancake breakfasts, and managed emotional logistics with the precision of a military strategist. But that didn't mean the story was over. Because healing, as I learned, isn't a straight line, it's more like a spiral staircase. You revisit things from a higher place, but they still echo. To Jackson, from Dad. It started with a package. Jackson brought it in from the porch himself, a small box with his name on it, neat handwriting on the label. I was in the kitchen unloading groceries when he dropped it on the counter. From Dad, he said, a little unsure. Should I open it? I took a breath. Sure, baby, go ahead. Inside was a neatly folded letter and a small plush dinosaur, his favorite when he was 4. Jackson smiled at first, then opened the note and read aloud. Hey buddy, I miss you. I'm sorry I haven't been around much lately. I've been trying to be better, and I hope you'll let me show you soon. I hope this dino reminds you of when we used to play Extinction Rescue Squad. Love. Dad. Jackson looked up. What, extinction mean again? I smiled softly, when something disappears forever. He blinked, but this came back. And just like that, the kid reminded me of something I'd forgotten. Some things, even if damaged, don't always stay gone. Family man girl, reintroducing the biodad. I let Ben back in barely. Controlled, monitored, transparent. He came by once a week for game hour with Jackson. No overnights yet, just Lego builds, ice cream runs, and shared dad jokes. To his credit, he didn't push. He asked permission. He didn't try to fix things, he just showed up. It wasn't redemption, it was consistency. And kids don't need perfection, they need presence. As for Hannah, she made her own choices. She chose to come by once a month. We baked cookies, studied for her tests, and she talked to me about boys in her math class. She told me about her dreams, becoming a biologist, but not the gross kind, just the lab coat kind. One afternoon, while we were making brownies, she said, "You know, I still haven't talked to him. I just don't want him to ruin what I already understand about myself." I nodded. "That's okay, you don't owe him anything." She stared at the batter. "But it's kinda cool that I have a brother. I didn't expect to like that part." She smiled at Jackson across the room. He was licking a spoon and laughing at some cartoon. "Yeah," I said, "he grows on you." Hammer and wrench fixing the house, not the marriage. That spring, I renovated the guest room. Not for Ben, not even for Hannah. But for me. It became a reading nook, art space, meditation corner, my space. I hung a framed print of our family photo, the one with the three of us, and underneath, a quote I hand-lettered myself. "Truth doesn't break things. It reveals what wasn't solid to begin with." I started posting more of my artwork online, small comics and illustrations inspired by real life. One went viral. A sketch of a woman unwrapping a DNA kit that explodes into a cloud of family photos. The caption read, "When he tries to test you, but only proves himself unworthy." People flooded my inbox. Hundreds of women wrote, "He did the same to me." I thought I was crazy. I didn't know this was a pattern. I wasn't alone, I was just the first to say it out loud. So I said more. Loudspeaker speaking up. By June, I'd been invited to speak on a podcast called Modern Family, Messy Truths. I told the whole story anonymously at first, but when the episode went viral, I outed myself by resharing it. Ben heard it, he didn't complain. Instead, he sent me a text. "You were fair, thank you for not painting me worse than I was." I replied, "You painted yourself, I just stopped cleaning it up." That was the end of that thread. Light bulb Hannah's science fair twist. In late June, Hannah asked me to help her brainstorm her science fair project. "What if I do something on genetics?" she asked. I froze for a second. "You sure?" She grinned. "Yeah, I want to show that DNA isn't destiny." We worked together for a week, building a poster board that broke down genetic inheritance, probability, mutation, and a section titled Family, the biological and the chosen. She even included a drawing Jackson made of the two of them as super siblings. Her project won third place. Her teacher cried reading it. I clapped the loudest. Christmas tree planning ahead, the holiday card, part 2. As the year moved toward fall, I found myself thinking about Christmas again. Last year's card had been a mic drop. This year, I wanted something else. Not revenge, not shock. Just joy. So we planned a new photo shoot, at home this time. Matching flannel PJs, hot cocoa, waffles in reindeer ears. Ben wasn't in it, but neither was the bitterness. It was me, Jackson, and Hannah in a pillow fort, laughing uncontrollably. The caption, "Surprises come in DNA kits, but the best ones come with heart." Looking back now, I realize this story didn't start with betrayal, it started with doubt. Ben doubted me, doubted our son, and most of all, doubted himself. But what he underestimated was that I never did. Not in my kid, not in my instincts, not in my worth. So when he handed me that DNA kit, he thought he was starting a test. He had no idea I'd already passed it. And built something better from the results. By midsummer, life no longer felt like a reaction to someone else's mistakes. It was mine again. Not the kind of mine where everything is under control, because nothing ever truly is, but the kind where even the chaos has my name on it. My choices, my boundaries, my future. Ben had faded into a manageable presence. He picked up Jackson every other weekend, sent awkward but well-meaning texts, and occasionally offered to help fix things around the house. I declined every time. I didn't need Ben the handyman. I needed distance. But Jackson was thriving. And strangely, so was Hannah. And for the first time, I started asking myself the question that had felt too indulgent before. What do I want now that the war is over? Graduation cap from survival to redefinition. Dr. Naomi, my therapist, once said, "The opposite of betrayal isn't safety, it's autonomy." So I started exploring what that meant. I went on a solo trip to Santa Fe. Just me, a rented Jeep, a sketchbook, and zero expectations. I hiked, I drew, I cried when I saw Georgia O'Keeffe's house. I had dinner alone on a rooftop and didn't check my phone once. I didn't miss Ben, I didn't even think about him. I missed me, and I was finding her again. Back home, I expanded my freelance work. I launched a short graphic novel online, loosely inspired by the DNA incident, but stylized into a gothic thriller with witches and potions and family curses. It gained traction. People resonated with it. Apparently, betrayal is a universal genre. Mobile phone with Hannah's choice. Late one evening, Hannah texted me. "Hey, I think I'm ready." I knew what she meant. She wanted to meet Ben officially, face to face. I asked if she wanted me there. She did. So we planned it neutral ground, a park midday, low expectations. Jackson came too. I watched from a distance as the three of them sat on a bench under a sycamore tree. Ben was nervous. Hannah was calm. Jackson was doing most of the talking. It lasted 40 minutes. Afterward, Hannah walked over to me. "I'm glad I did it," she said. "Yeah," I asked. She nodded. "Now I know." "Know what?" She paused, "That I'm not missing anything." I hugged her. Ben didn't come over. He just waved, got in his car, and left. That felt like closure. Artist palette the exhibit. In September, I was invited to join a local art show. I submitted a collection called Undone and Unmade, a visual series of 5 moments from my past year. The DNA box, the 2 kids holding hands, the burning envelope from the divorce filing, the pillow fort photo, and one final panel of just me, sitting in an empty room with a paintbrush in one hand and a hammer in the other. The piece was titled, "You don't rebuild trust, you build yourself." Opening night was packed. Ben didn't come, but his mother did. She hugged me, she brought Hannah flowers. And before she left, she whispered, "He may have lost his story, but you wrote one better." Light bulb Jackson's question. That October, Jackson turned 7. We threw a party at the park, dinosaurs, pizza, glitter slime. Half the kids from his class came. Hannah helped with the decorations. Waffles wore a party hat. It was chaos, beautiful chaos. Later that night, while I was tucking him in, Jackson looked up at me and asked, "Was Daddy always scared I wasn't his?" I froze, my heart cracked a little. I sat on the edge of his bed. "I think Daddy was scared, but not of you. I think he was scared of not being enough." Jackson nodded, but I didn't need him to be perfect, just mine. I hugged him so tight it made him giggle. Because that's it right there. We never needed perfection. We just needed presence and truth. Candle the softest ending. December came again. Another Christmas. This time, I didn't send cards. No mic drops, no photo bombs, no secret messages. Just a small dinner, a crackling fire, and 2 kids in matching pajamas laughing at some terrible holiday movie while Waffles begged for scraps. And me sitting quietly, holding a mug of hot cider, feeling full in a way I hadn't in years. Ben sent a polite text. "Merry Christmas. Thank you for letting me be a part of Jackson's life." I replied, "Thank you for finally showing up for him." That was enough. Looking back now, I realize the DNA test didn't destroy our family. It just exposed it. It showed me who was willing to fight for it and who was looking for a way out. It gave me 2 children who found each other. It gave me the courage to rebuild a life on honesty, not illusions. And it gave me this truth. When someone tries to test your worth, let the results speak louder than your rage. Because trust isn't proven by blood. It's proven by how we show up again and again and again. If you had told me a year ago that a swab of spit and a fake ancestry gift would unravel my marriage, expose a secret daughter, rewire my entire family, and lead me to my own rebirth, I would have laughed in your face. But here I am. And somehow, I'm not broken. I'm not bitter. I'm better. Because some betrayals aren't meant to be burned down. Some are meant to light the way. Graduation cap lessons I learned the hard way. 1. If someone gives you a gift that comes with suspicion, it's not a gift. Ben wrapped control in ribbon. He disguised doubt as curiosity. I opened it with gratitude and got a gut punch instead. Never again. 2. DNA doesn't determine devotion. Ben shared blood with 2 kids, but that didn't automatically make him a father to either. Presence is the real paternity. 3 secrets are like splinters. You can ignore them, but they still fester. He thought his affair could stay buried forever, but truth has a way of surfacing, whether you're ready or not. 4. You don't owe someone a second chance just because they regret hurting you. Ben was sorry. That doesn't mean I had to stay. That doesn't mean he deserved the version of me who'd done the healing work. Brain full circle moment. In January, I got an email from Family Finders. New relatives detected, 1 close match. Another name, another half-sibling, a boy, 6 years old, from a woman in Georgia. At first I froze. I thought, how many are there? Then I laughed, genuinely laughed. Because it wasn't shocking anymore. It was just Ben. I messaged the mother. She was kind, smart, hurt, but grounded. I told her what I tell every woman who reaches out to me now. You didn't do anything wrong. You're just part of a story someone else refused to write honestly. We talked for an hour. And at the end, she asked, do you think your son and daughter would want to meet him someday? I paused, and then I said, if he's loved, they'll want to know. That's what family does. Writing Hannah's S. In the spring, Hannah applied for an arts high school. One of the questions was, describe a moment that changed the way you see the world. Hear what she wrote. When I met my half-brother, I didn't know what to expect. I thought I'd feel weird or out of place. But the first thing he said to me was, "Want to see my dinosaur fort?" And I did. We built it together. Now I know that sometimes people find each other not because of biology, but because they were meant to build the same things. She got in. I framed that essay. It hangs in our hallway. Next to the photos, next to the print that says, "Family is who shows up after the fallout." House with garden 1 year later. Jackson's reading now. He likes graphic novels and eats way too much applesauce. Hannah's braces are off, and she just made honor roll. Waffles is still scared of the vacuum. And me. I sleep peacefully. I laugh loudly. I say no easily. I say yes carefully. I love my life, and not the one I fought to save, the one I chose after letting go. Wrapped gift and that DNA kit. It's still in a drawer. Same sleek white box. Same green lettering. Except now, it's taped shut and labeled with a sticky note. Use only for science, not sabotage. Because looking back, Ben thought he was giving me evidence. But what he really gave me was freedom. Freedom to stop proving myself. Freedom to love without contracts. Freedom to raise kids who understand that family isn't forged in labs. It's built on love, effort, and truth. So if you're reading this and you've been tested by DNA or betrayal, let me say this loud. You are not a result. You are a response. And you can rewrite everything. My name is Alexis. And this is how I turned his exit plan into my origin story. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.